Hi everyone and welcome to Elastic Beanstalk tutorial for Heroku users. I have already logged into Elastic Beanstalk console and I have created one Rails application with two environments, production and staging. For the most of the presentation we are going to switch to the terminal because in your day-to-day task you probably are going to use the Elastic Beanstalk CLI. We are going to deploy the Rails application inside the Docker container, and it's going to be a good opportunity to show how Elastic Beanstalk integrates with Docker. Let's start by deploying a new feature of my application to staging. I can list all the available environments with the EB list command, and as you can see, staging is my default environment, so all the commands from now on are going to affect this environment only. I already built a new Docker container with all my changes, and I can run it locally with the EB local run command. I have provided some default environment variables that will attach this container to some of my local resources in this machine. I can open the web interface on this environment with the EB local open command and make sure that all my changes appear here and I am ready to deploy it to staging. As with Heroku, with Elastic Beanstalk CLI, it's pretty easy to deploy your changes to a live environment. You can use the Elastic Beanstalk deploy command, which by default will take your default environment and your last commit and deploy it right away. You can use the staged switch if you have some changes you still didn't commit to Git and you would like to deploy them without committing it. I'm happy with my last commit, so I'm going to go ahead and deploy it as is. The command will zip all the files and upload them to S3, so you will be able to roll back whenever you want in the future. It's worth mentioning that if you are using Docker, as I'm doing at the moment, you need to build your Docker image and upload it to a private registry. And the Elastic Beanstalk command won't do that by default for you if you are using the multi-container environment. I can view the health and the status of my default environment with the EB status command. The health green indicator means that all the Elastic Load Balancer health checks have returned successfully, and the status ready means that there are no changes or deployments that run in the environment at the moment, which means I can deploy a new version or roll back whenever I want. I can open a web interface with my new version with the EB open command and make sure that I didn't break something with my last changes. I can also view all the environment variables that are configured for my environment with the EB print env command, and if I'm still not satisfied with the performance of my application, I can run EB logs to gather all the logs for all the EC2 instances that run my application and make sure that there are no infrastructure or application errors that are running in the environment. And as if you can see, there is a pretty nasty exception that I should probably take care of as soon as possible. I would like to wrap up this video tutorial by briefly explaining how you can add capacity to Elastic Beanstalk environment. Every environment you configure with Elastic Beanstalk allows you to configure automatic scaling rules. For example, you can scale based on the CPU utilization across your UCT instances or based on the latency of your application, or if you know in advance when your application is going to be more used during the day, you can add more instances at that time using the time-based scaling. If you prefer a more manual approach like you would with Heroku, you can use the EB scale command and specify the amount of instances you require, and Elastic Beanstalk will terminate or add to fulfill this amount for you. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have any questions, you can send them directly to me via email.